Okay, well, my name is Mel Ainscow. I am a professor at the University of Manchester in the north of England. And for many years, I have been working on projects in the United Kingdom, but also internationally, around the idea of equity. And what I'm interested in is how can we develop education systems and schools where every child is included and every child is treated fairly. The idea of equity for me is about both inclusion and fairness. So the kind of work I do, it's a form of research, but it's a kind of action research where I work with schools individually, or more usually networks of schools or even entire education systems. And the question in my mind is what can we do to move education systems forward? And obviously that answer depends on where the system is at the moment. So you start from where the system is. But from our work now over many years, certain patterns emerged, certain things seem to apply in different places. First of all, I think it's necessary to be clear what we're trying to achieve. Educational change is difficult, not because teachers are lazy or resistant, but simply because everybody's so busy. So if you're going to bring about change, you've really got to reach into the system and you've got to be clear about what you're trying to achieve, really. And words like inclusion, equity, they can be quite confusing and themselves could be a barrier, really. So what I say to people I'm working with is, look, what we're trying to do is to reach out to all the children by developing the capacity of the school. So it's therefore a process. It's not, are you inclusive or not inclusive? Every school is inclusive to some extent. Every school has somewhere to move. So it's a process, it's a journey of saying, what else can we do to reach the children that we are not reaching at the moment? The logical implication of that, of course, is there will never be such a thing as an inclusive school, because there are always going to be new children who come along with new challenges. So it's not about a state, it's really a continuous process of extension. And for me then, it's quite useful to think of that process as involving the need to identify barriers that are making it difficult for some children to be involved in education. And those barriers can take many different forms. I mean, some barriers are relatively straightforward. If there are problems with the building, you can usually fix the building. But there are deeper barriers to do with the way education systems run. The curriculum can be a barrier. The assessment systems can be a barrier. And of course, some of the most difficult barriers are the barriers in people's minds, the limitations of what they think is possible. Can I really teach these children with these characteristics? So that's why the process is one of looking at barriers, collecting evidence and saying, how can we work together to overcome these barriers? I also find it quite useful to think about the idea of inclusive education as being at a series of stages. The first stage is about presence. Who is here? Who is not here? Presence is a necessary stage, but my argument is presence alone is insufficient, because a child can be present and being ignored and may not feel very welcome. So the next stage is to say, okay, as well as being present, children have to be participating. They have to feel that they belong, that they have a role, that they are valued for who they are, that their names are used. But for me, even that is insufficient, because you could be present, you could be participating, but you might not be learning anything. So the ultimate kind of goal of inclusion for me is achievement, improving the achievement of all children. So what that means, therefore, is this idea of inclusion is not a separate project. It's not something else to do as well as school improvement. It is school improvement. It's about saying, how do we strengthen the school in such a way that we'll be able to include some children who at the moment are not included, but in such a way that it should benefit all the children in the school. So I'm really describing a process of school improvement, but kind of school improvement based on values and beliefs, school improvement with attitude. The features of schools that make progress in this respect, the way they look is different from place to place, but there are certain common features. Always it is about collaboration. It's about teachers working with teachers, breaking down the isolation of the teacher's life. It's about children. We're working with children because children can help and support one another. And it's very much about schools working beyond the school gate. So we find it very helpful to create networks of schools, so schools are working together and supporting one another. And then, of course, the possibilities are endless because you need to reach out to the families, you need to be engaged with local businesses, with universities, with religious organisations. You want to engage everybody in a process of supporting the school's capacity to reach all of the children. And of course, the obvious implication of that is that it won't happen by chance. It has to be managed, it has to be led. So people who are in leadership positions are crucial to the success or otherwise of this kind of what I call school improvement with attitude. School improvement that's based on values and principles and beliefs.